As strength themes go, competition is actually fairly low for me.
Okay.
And so people are like, but you're so competitive. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I use my activator. Like,
Yeah.
come on, let's do this. Let's go. And then if someone starts to win beyond me, I'm like, you're doing great. So,
Yeah.
it's not important for me to win. It is important for us to win. That's important to me. And those sprints just are so engaging and energizing.
Allisa Daire Nelson with Daire Success Coaching is today's guest on the AGC Experience podcast show. Elissa shares with us that at an early age, she was a gymnast for over 15 years, which created this competitor inside her, created this person who excels under competition, someone who's a real activator, someone who takes action. And she discusses how that takes her in life to better serve her clients, the people that she works with for coaching, with training, educating, speaking, etc. She helps them discover how freaking awesome they really are, because she knows what being freaking awesome is really about. She's someone who's been on TV. She has authored a book, and she's on talks and podcasts and things all over the country, all over the world. She's an absolutely amazing friend. She talks about understanding the label inside your jar. What makes you freaking awesome? How to self-discover that, how to build the plan, and how to implement this in a way that's going to grow you as a person and grow your business.
My name's Travis Sims, and I am the founder and CEO of AGC Accelerated Global Connections. And this is the AGC Experience.
Businesses everywhere strive to be seen and heard in today's marketplace. Gone are the days when a simple open for business sign could be hung and a Yellow Pages ad created, resulting in customers pouring through the doors. Clarity Marketing specializes in social media strategy and execution. The Clarity team is more than just a faceless vendor. They become a seamless extension of the brands they serve, achieving a common goal of business success. If your company is looking for a premier social media marketing agency that is responsive and invested in your success, contact Clarity Marketing at 651-214-7290.
Well, I'm super excited to sit down with my friend, Allisa Daire Nelson, the person with three names, because you use your middle name. I want to learn a little bit about that because I haven't asked that question. You're with Daire Success Coaching, and it's just been fun to get to know you. I've known you about 4 years from now. You're one of my, I guess, first introductions, people that I met coming into the Twin Cities.
Yeah.
And we've stayed in contact and kind of been around some of the same circles and kind of ventured back where we're rediscovering what it's like to work together and help each other. And you were a speaker at our AGC event recently and rocked the house, had one of our biggest audiences ever. And you're just rocking the world right now. I want to know more about you. Our audience does. So please tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'd love to hear from you.
It's such, we were talking a little bit in the pre-chat just about, where the last 4 years have brought us and some of our colleagues around, because it is true that a rising tide lifts all ships.
Yes.
And so it's just been super fun watching your success and, watching my success too,
Yes.
sort of from, like when I can get outside my own jar, right?
Yeah.
And it's just super fun to see us all leveling up and going to that next level. So it's just really exciting to see what you've created with AGC. A little bit about me, I guess. Okay. So I founded Daire Success Coaching 5 years ago. I work with two different groups. One is solo entrepreneurs who are working towards and beyond six figures, and team leads. And that could be an owner who has 10, 20, 30 employees, or it could be an executive who is working with a team as well. I like to work with groups less than 50
Okay.
because they're agile. and they move faster. And that is something that I love. And with that group, the executives and business owners who have more employees, it's a lot more communication coaching and leadership coaching. Because one thing I do know really, really well is people. And people are the most challenging part of any fast-growing business, to be very honest. They're the least predictable. So I get a lot of joy in working with those clients and helping them to engage their teams, grow their culture, and beyond. So that's a little bit about what I currently do. You had asked about my name.
I did,
which is kind of a fun story. So my middle name is legally Daire. It's Daire, and people are like, "Well, what is that all about?"
Yeah.
I went through a divorce about a decade ago, and when I got remarried, as a symbolic gesture to myself, I took back my maiden name, which is Daire, as my legal middle name. Fast forward a couple years after that is when I was launching my coaching practice, and I was really struggling. And I was talking to my coach, my then coach, about what was holding me back, because that's a lot of us coaches, we talk about what's holding you back, right?
Yeah. Well, even the best coaches have coaches, right?
In fact, I would say if you're interviewing a coach, and one of the best questions to ask is, do you have your own coach? If the answer is no, I would encourage you to walk away. Because it means one of two things. Either A, they don't see the value in investing in a coach, which why would you then invest in them? Or secondly, that they don't believe in what they're doing. Yeah. Or C, they think they know it all. And all of those things are dangerous propositions when you're hiring a coach. I have a coach. I have always had a coach. I will always have a coach, because I cannot read my label from inside my jar.
Oh, that's a great analogy. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So little tip.
Yes.
When you're hiring a coach, ask that question. It's a really important question to ask.
I agree with you too, by the way. And the person that thinks that they know everything has stopped learning.
That's right.
And we have to continuously be learning, especially if you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, a solopreneur. I mean, you have to be seeking out knowledge, and it's so great to have outside perspective, because you get stuck in it, right? And you can't see beyond the computer screen or beyond the notes on the table, and to have someone else looking in is huge for your business. Absolutely.
And, again, kind of in that vein of, if you know everything, you've stopped becoming curious. And, from a coaching perspective, in a lot of ways, that's my number one job. Yeah. Is to really get curious and listen and pull things out. And for a coach to sort of have this idea that they have it all, that they've got it all figured out, again, how are they going to be serving that client is my biggest question. Yeah. So I was talking to this coach, and he said, you're really going to keep, your business name, not having a business name, from going out and serving the people that you can serve right now. And I looked at him and I said, yes, actually I am, quite blankly. Yes, I am. And he's like, but Elissa, he's like, it's you. It's your name. You are the business. It's your personality. It's your skill, all of that. And I looked at him and I was like, Nelson Coaching? Like, that is the most vanilla, the most Minnesotan, Scandinavian, boring name on the face of the planet. Which, side note, I've come full circle, and my passion is to grow Minnesota. So we'll get to that in a minute. But, and I said, but dang it, this is what I was put on this earth to do. And it was like, because who was I when I was put on this planet? I was Allisa Daire. And so, it just worked out really well that it was legally my name. And so now I go by all three. So that's how Daire Success Coaching emerged.
Well, I'm so glad that you shared that, because just in knowing you in 4 years, I know that you're anything but vanilla, anything but boring.
A little spicy.
A little bit. A super fun personality, fun person to get to know. But wow, I've watched you over the last 4 years really do some amazing things. I mean, things that would intimidate the just normal person. And like everything from, I've seen you scale your business tremendously. I've seen you working now with professionals that I admire and that I get coaching from, which tells you, what I think of you and your level at success that you're having right now. And then also, I saw you even did bodybuilding and a bodybuilding show, and you don't know this about me, but whenever I was 16 years old, I won a bodybuilding competition.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well,
I know it's
that?
like a whole different body ago, but I did. I won a bodybuilding competition when I was 16 years old, and did powerlifting and had that background a little bit. But I know firsthand how difficult that is. To take your body to that level, to take your nutrition to that level, to take your exercise to that level, and to keep going. So what drives you? What, because not everyone gets up in the morning and says, I can't wait to be excellent. What is the thing that drives you? How do you create that level of success?
So a lot of it is how I'm wired. I wholeheartedly believe in the StrengthsFinder profile. That's the profile that I use and unpack for all of my clients. I like to say I turn it into a personal owner's manual, which sounds a little kitschy, but it really is true. Like, if you've been a parent, you're like, dang it, I wish my kid came with a personal owner's manual. Like, that would be fantastic. And the StrengthsFinder, when applied, actually does that. And so one of my strength themes, my top strength themes, is activator. And so it means that I love to get into action. Hence, I know that I'm not going to thrive working in a behemoth-sized company that is not going to have change that's going to implement, right? Yeah. So I'm putting myself in a place where I can thrive working with those companies that I know are a little bit more agile. And so, I'm all about what's the next sprint. And it drives me. And then I have futuristic as well as a strength theme, and positivity. And so with that futuristic positivity, I'm pulled forward into what's next, what's possible, what could be. And that really sets me up for driving to these next goals. And I am so curious, the reason I did the bodybuilding competition was not so I could, walk on stage with a bikini this size. That was a little something when you're almost 40 years old and you're walking on a stage with a tiny little bikini on. But it was to see, what can the human body do? I've always been fascinated by the human body. I spent over a decade in healthcare before I went into entrepreneurship, and it's just fascinating. And so, what could it do? And so I didn't take any pills or, metabolism boosters or any of that kind of stuff. And my trainer was like, "Are you sure? Because this is going to speed your progress." And I said, "I want to know what my body can do."
Wow.
And that's why I chose to do it that way. Will I walk on stage again? I do believe I will. This year is the year of flow for me, which means that I'm dedicating my entire year to yoga.
Okay.
And then in the coming years...
have you done yoga before?
I have done yoga before, and I grew up as a gymnast, so the whole flexibility thing was something that is important to me. And with bodybuilding, I noticed that I really tightened up a lot. And so I want to get back in that place of flexibility and being limber and just all of the other sort of meaningful things that come around that with regards to flow. My business flowing, my life flowing to and from, abundance flowing. Yeah. And so, when I do yoga, it's an expression of that, and it's a reminder. It's almost a daily affirmation of, this is how I choose to live my life. And so this whole year I'm dedicating to yoga. I may actually run a marathon at some point, not because I like running, because I actually despise running. But because I want to see that I can do it. So we'll see what that, maybe 2021 is the year of the marathon. Sure. But it's just fun to see what new thing, what new experience, and what can I learn through that experience. There were so many life lessons through the experience of the bodybuilding that I cherish.
So you're a person that likes challenges.
Yeah, I do.
And busting through them. I mean, and accepting that there are no limitations. One of my favorite quotes or phrases is that if you can go there in the mind, you can go there in the body.
Right.
And I didn't know that you were previously a gymnast. Is that something you did as a kid, as a teenager, or for a while? I mean,
Yeah, I was a gymnast for 15 years.
15 years.
Yep.
Okay.
4 to 19. I
Wow.
made it through 1 year of college gymnastics before my body told me I was done. So that was kind of a heartbreak. I didn't get to quit on or be finished on my terms. But that took me actually a long time to get over the pain of that. It was an interesting loss having to be done, but I lived it, breathed it, loved it. My daughters, it got into their DNA, and so they're both gymnasts, very successful in their own right. So it's fun to see them, and always being very cautious not to live vicariously through them, but to let them follow their own dreams. I like to tell them, I will open every door I can for you, but I will not walk through those doors for you. And nor will I push you through the door. It's got to be your accomplishment. Otherwise, what pride is there in that? So it's really fun watching them step into that too.
So do you think the competitor inside you, the person that obviously must love competition from being an athlete majority of your life, has translated into how that you run and coach, run your coaching business and how you coach others?
Yeah, I think it does. And it's interesting because as strength themes go, competition is actually fairly low for me.
Okay.
And so people are like, but you're so competitive. I'm like, well, I use my activator. Like, come on, let's do this. Let's go. And then if someone starts to win beyond me, I'm like, you're doing great. So, it's not important for me to win. It is important for us to win. That's important to me. And those sprints just are so engaging and energizing. And so I've actually stopped making year-long goals, and I've now taken on the 12-week year method, not just for my business, but also, or not for my own goals, but also for my whole business. So every 13th week is made specifically for reflection, regathering, re-aiming, and moving forward. So I can do a 12-week sprint, right? And that works for me because of how I'm wired. That's what engages me.
That makes a lot of sense to me, and I'll tell you, because we're approaching the 1-year anniversary for AGC, which will date this podcast a little bit. But it, I had a 1-year plan, I had a 5-year plan, I had task boards and vision boards and advisors and all these things coming in, and I had a plan. Not everything goes according to plan, right? Sometimes you have to course correct. Sometimes you have to go, oh, wait a minute. Let's reset. Let's re-examine. Let's make sure we're on task for our mission. Let's make sure that this is the direction we want to go. And do we need to regroup and refocus and so on? So I can identify with that. I think that's smart, because there are so many people that walk away just unhappy or unfulfilled, or they didn't hit their goal and they feel like they didn't accomplish what they set out to do.
Right.
But it's that their business took a different turn. And so it's okay sometimes, although we're people who love to hit goals, but recognizing that you may have to shift them or change them early is important too.
One of my favorite mentors, Hal Elrod, says, it's not even about the goal. It's about who you become along the way.
I like that.
And so goals are important because it gives you a benchmark. It gives you a carrot. It gives you, a line to drive towards. But ultimately, keep driving even towards the end, even if you're going to miss that mark, because it's about who you become along the way. And there's a book by Gay Hendricks called The Big Leap. And in order for you to get up to that next level, you have to become the person who can sustain at that next level. Yeah. So your level of success in business, in life, will never exceed your level of personal development. And so, that's another thing that drives me in my business is, people come to me because they want their business revenue to grow. Why? Because money solves a lot of problems.
Sure.
But they when they get inside, and I tell them up front, so it's not a surprise, right? But we look at all the different areas of their life, including their personal development. How are you doing in all of these areas? Because you have to level up in all areas if you're going to level up in your business.
Yes. Oh my gosh. you shared a couple, this book, that book. You have a book.
I do.
You do.
I do have a book.
I'm a little jealous, I got to tell you, because you've did the work to write your book. And my difficulty is I feel like I have the book in me, but I haven't just taken the time and the dedication to write the book, to put it on paper, to tackle that task. I'm certain there are other people in our audience that wants to write a book, or they have a book in them. What advice would you give to someone that's either considering or planning to write a book?
I would suggest that you get some guidance of someone who has been there before. My current business coach specializes in book writing. Her name is Anna Corder. She's amazing. She's published 53-ish books.
Wow.
And she has a book called You Must Write a Book. And it has an accompanying workbook as well. So at minimum, get that book.
I'm writing it down now.
And she also has a course that I have taken as well. And it's amazing, where she walks you through it. So it's not some sort of book in a box, which that's actually a name of a business. So I'm not trying to downplay that. But how are you going to self-publish successfully?
Yeah.
The irony is that I found her and her course after I published my book.
Of course you did.
So my next books will be with, her guidance and her genius. But that is what I would recommend. And then lean into your strengths. How is it engaging for you to get your thoughts out on paper? And so sometimes that's hard. And that's, not knowing what all of your strengths are is hard to say. But for me, I write in sprints. I'm not someone who's going to sit down for 8 hours and pound out, right? So know thyself, and then you're going to be able to be more successful getting that out on paper or on the computer, or however you choose to get the first draft out.
Tell us about your book. It's on the bookshelf upstairs. I should have brought it down. That would have been really nice. But
missed opportunity.
Tell us about the book. Title. Where do we find it? What's it about?
Yeah. So it's called From Frustrated to Frickin' Awesome, 4 Steps to Achieve the Success You're Wired For. And so what I discovered was there was a lot of productivity books out there, and there was a lot of self-development books out there. Mm-hmm. And if you've talked to any self-development junkies who are like, I read 52 books last year. Great. Have you implemented anything?
Sure.
And often the answer is no. So I knew that there had to be a blend between this self-development and this productivity. And so the first half of the book is really discovering yourself. And so I take people through all sorts of exercises to figure out, why are you freaking awesome?
Yes.
And then the second half is really, all right, now let's put this into action. Let's create your freaking awesome plan, and give you guides for being able to actually implement it. And the cool thing is that the freaking awesome process is just 4 steps, and you can repeat it in some fashion every week, every quarter, every year. And so it really does take you through all of the different stages of figuring out, why am I great? And now how do I step into that? And now what is the plan I make for that? And now how do I reflect back and learn from where I've come? And now what now have I learned about myself? And why am I even more freaking awesome now? Right? And so we go around this beautiful cyclic freaking awesome process. So that's what it's about. It can be found on Amazon, of course. It can both Kindle and paperback. And it's the easiest place. Amazon's great, right? Just order it up on Prime.
There you go. Frickin' awesome. The word frickin'. Where did that come from? Because you can't say the other word?
Well, so it came from, so all of my epiphanies come from this place of frustration, my business name. And I was working with my cover art illustrator, designer. I was working with my 2 editors, and the 4 of us were on a Zoom call, and I could not figure out what the right name of this book was. Yeah. And we had come up with 150 different potential names. And I sat back and I was like, I just want people to know how freaking awesome they are.
Yeah.
And Heather, who is my designer, she's like, I think that's it. What do we got here? Oh, and so From Frustrated to Freaking Awesome, emerged about 10 minutes later, and there we
good.
had it. So frickin' is a safe word, which is good.
Right.
I now have stickers
It's an
that say
attention-getting word,
that's
too.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. I am frickin' awesome, and you are frickin' awesome, and
Yes.
we are frickin' awesome.
Yes.
And frickin' awesome entrepreneur is actually trademarked. So
I don't blame you one bit. Absolutely. So do you believe that everybody has a level of awesome in them that's just undiscovered? Is that or not planned or not thought out? I mean, what's your philosophy on that?
100% I believe that.
Yeah.
100% I believe that everybody has awesomeness inside of them. It is whether they're willing to do the work to uncover it, whether they're willing to do the work to get curious to uncover it, and whether they put themselves around people who will see the best in them as well. I look at humans like a puzzle. Okay. So humans as a biological species, we're a social species. We were never meant to be independent or alone, right? So if you think about how a puzzle works, right, there's a piece that fits into that piece and a piece that fits into that piece. And none of these pieces are round, right? And if they were round, they wouldn't fit into the puzzle. And so our grand human design here, fabric, is one giant puzzle. And so we all have an important part to play. And are you a puzzler? Do you do puzzles?
I don't. My wife Dawn loves them, but not my thing.
I love puzzles. I love puzzles. But the challenge is if you get to the end of the puzzle and then there's one stinking puzzle piece missing.
Yeah.
You notice, even if there's 1,000 pieces, one piece missing is noticeable. And so, as I talk to people about what their inner greatness is, like they have a place. It might not be my place. It might not be your place. Well, that's good because we have our place. And so, as I talk to leaders about emerging into their own greatness, it's discovering how you are going to be great, not how you can model that or that or that. How can you step into your own? And so, in the book, I talk about these 4 things that make people so freaking awesome. And when you can pull those out and you can articulate them, there's no doubt in anybody's mind, wow, like I am freaking awesome. And this is all the reasons why. There's nobody on this planet who can fill my space now. There's no one who ever could, and there's no one who ever will.
Yeah.
Right? Like you are the only one who can be you. And so encouraging people to step into that and to understand that if my light shines bright, it doesn't detract from your light.
Yes.
It just brings more light.
Yes. Oh my gosh. You're speaking my language. I love the way you think. What I love about what you're doing is not because I already know how freaking awesome you are. Like you can find you on television. You can find your book on the shelf. We can find you speaking, training, coaching all over in some of the highest level professionals. And it's because you didn't just hold the freaking awesomeness that you have within yourself. You decided to share it with everyone else and help them discover their inner puzzle, their inner thing that makes them greatness. And I just love that. I love what you're doing. I'm a big fan. You rocked it on our stage. Our audience is still talking about it, our community of AGC. And you had one of the biggest audiences to date. And we, behind the scenes, you and I are working, right? We're like,
we were.
All right. And I loved seeing that, you're like, so how many people today? How many people today? All right, I'm going to do this. You do that, and it was just, it was fun to do it with you. And I just have to ask you because you're on the AGC Experience. You're an AGC member. You've been a speaker. Now you're on the podcast. You are an extremely busy person. You're highly successful. What is it about AGC for you? Because you could spend your time anywhere.
Yeah. What I love is that with how AGC is set up, the relationships can be much more authentic and organic, right? So it's not everyone sitting around a table, and not that there's anything wrong with it. There's a place for that type of networking, but you can let yourself be drawn to someone new and start a new conversation. And everyone is just a little bit more, I don't want to even say casual, but guard down maybe, where we can be a little bit more real, and the time frame is different than a lot of, morning meetings, et cetera. And so it allows for a different crowd, a different opportunity. And the people are just very authentic. very authentic inside of AGC. And so I've gotten a lot of value out of creating those relationships there. And the speakers are also great. I'm in a profession where I pour out a lot.
Oh, sure.
And so it's hard to find a place where I can get poured into.
Yeah.
And your speakers that you bring to the front of the room, front of the stage, do that. And so it allows me to get my cup a little bit filled, which I have to have in order to continue to pour into my clients and my audiences. So I appreciate that you created that setting because it is cool and it's different.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Thank you. The organic part of it was a part of the ingredients when we were discovering and planning and predicting what AGC will be. And when we named it, when you're talking about picking the name of your book, right? Oh my gosh, I had the whole business plan and could not come up with the name. And I bought all these domains up of all the names that I kind of liked because I was
you're not an entrepreneur until you own at least 30 domains.
Yes,
right?
pretty much. And the word accelerated came out, and it's the first name. And it was about how could I accelerate the level of connections? How could I accelerate the amount of referrals? How could I accelerate the amount of business that's being done among our community? And so that word accelerate was my freaking.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And it fits, it works, and it's real.
Well, thank you. I want to say thank you for being on the show. Oh my gosh.
Thanks for
having me. It's so great to have you here and share with you, our audience. And if people are listening and they're watching and they're saying, oh my gosh, she's freaking awesome. I need a business coach. I want to level up. I'm writing a book. I want to get in front of people. I want to scale my business. Any of those things and well and beyond, how do we find you?
Well, you can go to my website. That's probably the easiest place to find me. It's daire2succeed.com. Now, Daire is spelled like my name, not like you would automatically think. It's DAIRE, the number 2, succeed.com. And it's really easy to spell succeed incorrectly too. So it's 2 C's and 2 E's, folks. Yep. So it's daire2succeed.com. There I have, a free guide on what are to find your 4 things. You can also get to my book and things like that from the website as well as find out a little bit more about me. But daire2succeed.com, that's the best place.
Awesome. Well, audience, I want to say thank you so much for listening. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for being on the show. If you discovered some value here, and I know that you did, I want you to share this with someone else. The best thing that we can always do is take something that we found of value and give it to someone else and say, hey, I think you'd enjoy this. I think you would benefit from listening. So please do that. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. We get lots of great entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, CEOs, executives through the doors here at AGC. And we're continuing to build our audience. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching.
Thanks.
All right. Nice job.
This podcast was produced by Elation Studios. Go to www.elationstudios.co to learn more. Elation Studios. Discover your voice, clarify your vision, build your life.
I think AGC is amazing because it's an opportunity to network with professionals in just a different atmosphere, kind of the happy hour time frame, and just kind of more of a social gathering, but yet still making really good connections.
I have gone to other evening networking events, and quite frankly, it was a little uncomfortable. This is so different. This is much more professional.
Every single time I come, it's a different group of people. Every time. It's never the same people. It's never the same 12 people or the same 40 people. It's 80 to 100 different people every time. So that's why I actually legitimately love AGC.
The talks are very inspiring. I love the people that they get to speak at each of the events because you kind of leave feeling really pumped and super excited about your week and what you're doing in your business.
But it's also what you're able to do beyond the event. The digital aspect of it, connecting with people online, getting in touch, messaging, being able to look at photos and videos of the events. When you add all those things together, there's no other networking platform that combines those elements for the investment that this takes.
Come visit, come check out our events. The first one is absolutely free, and hear the stories and decide truly if it's right for you by just trying it out.